Double trouble. Our first doubleheader of the year with Virginia Tech as we're headed on the road to start ACC play against Syracuse. And then we return home to face off against the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame, who are ranked just outside the top 10. I appreciate everyone's patience. This was supposed to be uploaded on Saturday, and I got sick. Doing a lot better. Still thugging it out today as we get through our first of hopefully a few doubleheaders here in year number 3. Last episode, we took our first loss of the year, dropping a really exciting game against Ole Miss, 44-42. We talked about it a little bit at the end of the last episode, but I'm a little concerned with this loss. When we look at the ranked teams still on the schedule, like Notre Dame, who we're going to play against later today, NC State the following week, Miami in a couple of weeks on the road off the bye. I mean, it is a really tricky schedule that we're going to have to navigate through the course of this season. And given that I would say 2 losses is probably the limit in order to make the college football playoff, the fact that we already have 1 loss is not ideal, especially against an Ole Miss team who I think is a little bit more vulnerable than some of the other ranked opponents we still have on the schedule, given that their defense is quite sloppy. And, well, they certainly were sloppy in this game. Judah Hudson was absolutely fantastic. All the skill position guys were really good. Nazir Ishmael doing his thing. Skylar Matlock, the true freshman, with a couple of huge catches. But defensively, we really struggled. And it's weird because we had a bunch of sacks. I think we had 6, but we didn't really send consistent pressure throughout the game. And the coverage was not very good. Not to mention the run defense was horrible. Bryce Mickens, Corrance, looking like his cousin. Matt Rayburn was awesome. Amar Simpkins, Ezekiel Banks with a kick return touchdown. I mean, this game was cinema. It was really exciting from start to finish, and it's unfortunate that we lost. But it really was the game of the series, I would argue, up to this point. So we're looking to bounce back against Syracuse, and then we've got Notre Dame. And as I look at our schedule, I think realistically, if we want to make the playoff, we can lose at most 1 more game. We would have to win 2 of the 3 games against those ranked opponents and then still win out in the other games, which is a lot easier said than done. So I feel like, especially through these next few weeks, we've really got to lock in and not let ourselves slip away. So we'll start with Syracuse. They're 1-2. They haven't beaten an FBS opponent yet, but they've lost to 2 really good teams. Toledo, I believe, is the best team in the group of 5. I think they're going to make the playoff. And then they just played Notre Dame last week, which is ironic because we're playing against them next week. Notre Dame didn't play that well, although Blai Koasomi, the running back, the transfer from Arizona, played really well. But Brady Montoya, the freshman quarterback, was a little underwhelming for the Irish. So let's take a look at this Syracuse roster. We've played against Syracuse all 3 seasons in this series, and all of them have been on the road in the Dome. They do have a new quarterback. It's the redshirt senior George Carden, who's been a career backup at Syracuse. They've decided to go with him rather than a younger option with more long-term upside, and he's been fine, I guess. 6'5", strong arm. They've got a really good running back, though, in Sam Plows, who's been the running back all 3 seasons of the series. He's a really good player, but I don't really know if he projects to the NFL, given that he's short, he's small, and he's not very fast. But the guy is a really good college player, and he's one of the best pass-catching backs in the country. Trace Emerald, the 6'2 corner with 99 speed. I do think he projects well to the NFL. Did not have an interception going into the year, but he picked off Rasheer Stewart and Toledo. Stewart, remember, did not throw an interception all season last year at Boston College. And then he picked off Brady Montoya twice. So if the ball skills improve, he's already a good cover player, and he's obviously super tradesy. I mean, we could be looking at a really high pick with Trace Emerald, possibly in the first round. As I mentioned, there's not a lot of margin for error with this Virginia Tech team. I think our best case scenario of squeaking into the playoffs would be 10-2. Anything less than that, we're not getting in, especially with these in-conference games, hoping to potentially make the ACC championship. That would really help our case. So we've really got to lock in. This is not a game we can afford to lose whatsoever. Hokies start with the football. 3rd down and 7. Hudson joined by Keelan Ringo in the backfield as he looks to throw it. Up the middle, Nazir Ishmael with the spin. Breaks the defender's ankles. He gets the first down a little bit past the 50. Obviously looking to get Ishmael involved early and often. From around midfield, Keelan Ringo up the middle. Gets the first down. He gains around 12, maybe 13 yards. I want to get Keelan Ringo the ball more. I've been impressed with him, but I don't think we've utilized him enough. On 2nd down, Hudson scrambles around, looking to get something out of nothing. On the run, he's got his man. It's Corey Dalton, the tight end. Past the 20, near the 15. A really impressive play there by Judah Hudson, and a great job by the offensive line, giving him time to throw, time to make a decision in order for Dalton to get open and turn that into a really nice play after the catch. 2nd and goal, 5.5-minute drive, ends with a touchdown. Keelan Ringo the Notre Dame transfer, who will get to play against his former team in a week from now, gets the scoring started. Here's Syracuse, 2nd and 1. Carden looks to throw it on the run. He's sacked. R.J. Jordan, the redshirt freshman, brings him down 3rd and short. Carden looks to throw it. Carden down the field, broken away in the secondary by Justice Watkins. So Syracuse has to punt it away. Really solid start for Virginia Tech as we will get it back on offense. Hudson joined by Ringo in the backfield here on 1st down. Vantress Kieran, the transfer from South Florida, in motion. Hudson looks to throw it. He's got a wide open man. It's Dalton again. I mean, we've had some talented tight ends on the roster. Brendan Marbury, Jack Stesko, both NFL draft picks. But I think based on what we've seen so far, I think Corey Dalton is better than both of those guys. Moving it pretty well. 2nd down and 3 at the 40. It's an RPO. Malachi Lavelle with the hurdle. An impressive play by the sophomore Lavelle. I haven't really been able to see him run the route tree yet, but he's really good with the ball in his hands. An exciting player after the catch. Hudson on the draw, has space. Judah Hudson, 1st down inside the 10, past the 5. Hudson just shy of the end zone as he's tracked down at the 1. We're getting Judah Hudson involved early on the ground, one of the top rushing quarterbacks in America. 1st and goal, QB sneak for Hudson. He's in for a score. Judah Hudson, another rushing touchdown. I think he has gotten a score with his legs in each of the first 4 games of the year. Quite the start for Virginia Tech, coming off a loss. We knew we had to win this game, and obviously it's still early, still the first quarter. But we're responding well so far as it's 14-0. Drive number 2 for the defense, 2nd down and 7. Carden joined by Plows. Carden looks to throw it under pressure. He's picked off. Ian Cloud, the redshirt freshman, walks the red carpet into the end zone for a touchdown. A pick 6 for Cloud. His first career interception ends up as a house call. The Hokies add to the lead as it's 21-0. I don't know what the quarterback Carden was thinking. Cloud was clearly going to jump that route the entire way. He had open rushing room up the middle. Carden should have just kept it. Could have scrambled for a nice gain. But instead it's Cloud, the redshirt freshman, with the pick 6. Once Justice Watkins is gone, I think we have to give Ian Cloud the number 9. It would only be right. Syracuse looking to get something rolling. Yes, Sam Plows gets it past the 40. That'll wrap up what was otherwise a disastrous first quarter for the Orange. Hokies lead 21-0. We're clicking on all cylinders so far. The offense, 2 drives, 2 touchdowns. Defense is looking good, especially with the pick 6 by Cloud. Syracuse is starting to get a little something here. They're finally getting some first downs, and they're moving it a little bit. So we'll see if they can keep it going into the second, trying to make this a game, because it has been ugly for the home team. On 2nd and 10, Carden on the option goes the wrong way. Jalen Hunter, the redshirt freshman, brings him down. A player who, as I've stated, I'm really excited about. Even though he was under-recruited out of high school, I think he is absurdly talented. 3rd down and about 12. Carden looks to throw it. Looking down the field for the end zone. Broken away by Caleb Flemings. Tries to get it for Brett Klutz. And Syracuse is going to punt it away. So the Hokies get it back. Looking to add to the lead even further. 3rd down and 8. Here's Hudson, looks to throw it. Looking down the field. It's caught! Corey Dalton strikes again. This kid is really, really impressive. That's his 3rd long catch of the game. And it keeps the chains moving. Off the play fake. Here's Hudson. He's got Ishmael, who's been quiet, past the 40. I think that's just his 2nd catch of the game. It's been impressive that our offense is moving it at will, and we haven't really gotten Ishmael the ball that much. On 1st down, a little bit past the 40. It'll be a handoff for Ringo. Tries to break away, but instead he goes the wrong way. So there's a good play for Syracuse. They force a loss of a couple. Now a 3rd down and 12 with Dalton in motion. It's a read option. Hudson keeps it himself, and he gets about 5 yards. The thought process there was to try to center the kick, get as close to his field goal range as possible. And this is a long one. It would be a career best for KC Swinger from 51. Now it is centered and in a dome. His kick is up, and it is good. Never a doubt. He had a chance to make that from 61. So the Hokies add to the lead, a career long for KC Swinger, and it's 24-0. The Hokies continuing to dominate Syracuse. 3rd down and 5. Here's Carden, looks to throw it up the middle. His pass is low, and this game just continues to go from bad to worse for the Orange. I mean, this is ugly. 5.5 to play in the first half. A 3rd down and 10 now for Virginia Tech. Hudson joined by Ringo at around the 40-yard line. Hudson takes his time. He will throw it. Hudson, clean pocket. Now he's going to look to run. He's got space. Hudson, juke move, first down, past the 50. Nice gain of about 12 for Judah Hudson. I mean, it just looks too easy out there for him. He's getting everything he wants against this defense. 3rd and 6. Hudson keeps it himself again, and he does not get much. Now, I know I said on Swinger's last kick he could have made it from 61, and it would have been a 61-yarder, but I decided not to test it. We're going to pin him back deep and punt it. 2nd down and 8. Up the middle. It's caught! With a spin move, it's Brett Klutz! Down the field to around the 50. Finally, something goes the way of Syracuse. It's a 46-yarder for Klutz. A heck of a play after the catch. And here at the 2-minute timeout, the Orange might be in business. 3rd down and 9. Carden looks to throw it. Carden's pass is broken away by Smoke Lewis. He was looking for Klutz again, and even with the near 50-yarder, they have to punt it. So the Hokies have it back, leading 24-0. As on 2nd and 10, here's Hudson, looks to scramble under pressure. Hudson tries to avoid the sack. He cannot. Payne Train brings him down. Here in the 2nd quarter, the offense is really slowing down, only 3 points. As Hudson looks for Dalton, it's overthrown, but there is a flag. Wow, we got bailed out right there because I don't think that pass was very accurate. Defensive pass interference against Syracuse. They will call it on David Nwokeji. After that red-hot start, the offense hasn't been great in the 2nd quarter. We needed that call to go our way, and that'll keep the chains moving. On 1st down, here's Hudson, looks to throw it. Sacked again! Under pressure from the blind side. 2nd sack at the drive for Syracuse, this time by Taylor Ivey. 2nd and 17. Hudson looks to throw it. Hudson looking up the middle. He's got Ishmael who gets the 1st down. Good to get Nazir Ishmael the ball. Good to get him up and moving as it results in a 1st down. With 1:13, Hudson rolls to the right. Hudson on the run. He's got Ishmael who breaks the tackle. Past the 25. Hurdles the defender. He's still up all the way to around the 10. Nazir Ishmael, he's gotten so much better after the catch. I mean, that was already a strength of his. But this year, he's just been a completely different animal. As that one is caught in the end zone. Lights, camera, Jackson. The true freshman, Matthew Jackson. His first career touchdown. Everybody's eating for the Hokies. We take full advantage of the pass interference penalty and now lead it 31-0 here in the 1st half. Syracuse just trying to get something going here with 40 seconds and 1 timeout as it's 3rd and 8. Carden looks to throw it. Lobs it up deep down the field. It is picked off. Smoke Lewis mosses the receiver, pinpoints the football, and makes the play. First interception of the year for Lewis. We still have 35 seconds left. There's still enough time to score again if we want to, and given how good the offense has been, why not? And we've got some timeouts, so there's no reason not to try. Heck of a play, though, by Lewis as he basically turns into the receiver there. He jumps high into the air to pick off the pass, and now the Hokies look to get one more score before the end of the half. On 2nd and 5, here's Hudson, looks to throw it. Hudson dances around the pocket with room. Hudson on the run. Wide open. It's Ishmael past the 35, past the 30. Breaks a tackle near the 25. Unfortunately, he couldn't get out of bounds, so we are going to use our last timeout, but it's still a heck of a play. I mean, how was he that wide open? The best receiver in America, and there was nobody within 20 yards of him when the pass was thrown. Down to 14 seconds and no timeouts. We're going to get bold. We're going to run the ball. I wanted to center the kick here, but I still want to run one more play. Take a shot for the end zone and then kick. The problem is this clock is moving fast. There's only 6 seconds. We're only going to have enough time for the one play. This is it. And Judah Hudson knows it. So he's going to have to scramble around, hope for an answered prayer. Hudson backs up, looking for the end zone. It's caught! Corey Dalton! One final encore for the offense. An unbelievable ending to an unbelievable first half for Virginia Tech. Judah Hudson backs up about 20 yards, throws up a prayer. It gets answered to make it 38-0, assuming we make the kick. I mean, holy cow. We've talked about the Caleb Williams comparison for Hudson, not in terms of build, but in terms of play style. And throws like that is exactly why. Judah Hudson's ability to make something out of nothing is special. What a half for the Hokies. We lead 38-0 against Syracuse, a complete bloodbath. Judah Hudson, 17 of 22, 261, 2 passing touchdowns, not to mention he has 42 yards and a rushing score. Nazir Ishmael, 6 for 133. Corey Dalton, 5 for 92 and a score. The transfer from Alabama has been fantastic. As for Syracuse, not much is going their way. George Carden is just 8 for 15, 79 yards and 2 picks. Syracuse really hasn't been able to move the ball at all, and their defense had a couple nice drives early in the second, but then went immediately back to struggling. 345 yards of offense in the first half for the Hokies compared to just 118 for Syracuse. That is not pretty. A dominant first half. One of the best I have ever seen by this Virginia Tech team as we move into the second half. I mean, if you're looking for a positive for Syracuse, they do start with the ball. So I guess there's that. As Syracuse fumbles on the exchange, Plows does get it. It's Logan Teccarelli, the transfer from Virginia, in the backfield. What a pickup he has been. He has been a disruptor in the middle of that defensive line. Forces a loss of about 8, and that'll make it a 3rd down and 19 for Syracuse as they are backed up pretty far after the near turnover. We'll see if their offense can get anything here on this drive. Carden by himself in the backfield. They'll go 5 wide as Carden looks to throw it. Carden has time, has all day, looking deep down the field. Double coverage, broken away. Caleb Flemings and Konabua are there to deflect it as Jalen Hunter is a little dinged up after the play. So that'll lead to another punt, as has pretty much every Syracuse drive today. Hokies get it back with good field position. Dalton in motion, play action. Hudson on the run, it's caught. Inbounds, it's Vantress Kiernan, the transfer from South Florida. Now at the 15, Virginia Tech not showing any remorse yet. Hudson to Ishmael, wide open. We had to get the Nazir Ishmael touchdown in at some point, right? Hokies add to the lead. It's 45-0, and I know it seems a little early. There's still 7 minutes left in the third quarter. Second half just started. I feel like we've seen all we needed to from the starters on both ends. I think we can afford to bring the backups in. I don't think this game is really in any danger. So I kind of see this as a good opportunity to get a lot of the younger guys, a lot of the freshmen out there. We didn't really get to against UConn because the game was a little bit too competitive for a little bit too long. 3rd and 4, short throw. Plows tries to break away. He cannot. Multiple defenders in the area, including Stephen Cross, the redshirt senior transfer from Temple. Ace Morgan is in at quarterback. He'll look short for Kalen Handy with plenty of room. Handy, the redshirt sophomore, all the way into the end zone, his first career touchdown, and the Hokies add to the lead even more. Hard over height at just 5'7". Handy breaks off the big one. I wanted to get the 3 quarterbacks on our roster, give each of them their own drives, but we might have to give Morgan another one. He only threw the ball once. It's kind of ironic because he only threw it once against UConn, and it was an interception. So now Morgan's thrown the ball twice this year, a pick and a touchdown. So with that, it's 52-0. Still in the third quarter. This is unbelievable. Syracuse back with it. They're not going to get it on 3rd down. Evan Teague, the true freshman, is there with the tackle. That'll result in a punt. Hokies get it back. 3rd down at about 9. Morgan will stay in at quarterback as he'll look short. It's caught. Not going to be enough for the first down. It's Matthew Jackson who had a touchdown earlier with the reception. So that'll lead to a punt. Syracuse gets it back. Carden and Plows still in the backfield for Syracuse. Carden looks to throw it under a ton of pressure. Hit as he throws an incomplete. Another stop for the Hokie defense. Ross Daniels in the backfield. They're going to go for it on 4th and 3. You know what? I love the call. I mean, you're down by 52. What is there to lose? Carden keeps it. Late pitch. Plows. Nowhere to go. It's Taylor Dukes, the true freshman, with the tackle. So Virginia Tech gets the stop. Cam Kingsbury is in at quarterback for the first time this year. Here is Kingsbury on 3rd down. Final play of the quarter. Handoff for Jarrell Casey, the freshman. Pretty good gain. He gets about 6-7 yards, and that'll do it for the third. Another dominant quarter for Virginia Tech. The Hokies lead it 52-0. We're probably going to add to the lead with an impending field goal incoming to start the 4th. So Casey Swinger is back on the field. He hasn't been too busy today, just his 2nd field goal attempt of the afternoon. He made his first one from 51. This one will be a little bit easier from around 35, still fairly centered. His kick is up, and it is good. Honestly, I'm surprised there's still this many fans in the building. I mean, it's 55-0, for Christ's sake. Syracuse is going to start to bring in the backups themselves. They are waving the white flag. Finally. Owen Walton, the redshirt senior, is in for the Orange as he is joined by Robbie Whitmore in the backfield. Whitmore gets it on first down up the middle of the juke move. Whitmore, first down, getting extra yards. Good run for the redshirt junior, Robbie Whitmore, who is a team captain for this Syracuse team. He does play a role. 3rd and 4, passes off the mark, and Syracuse is going to punt it. So much for them going for it on the last drive. We're going to keep Kingsbury out there. Again, we didn't really get to see much on the last drive, so the more snaps for him, the merrier. 3rd down and 3. Short throw is caught. Gideon Zavala with the first down. I still definitely think there's a long-term future for Kingsbury with our team, even though he's being redshirted this year. As on 3rd and 5, he'll go up the middle. It's caught for a first down. Cesar Chavez near the 50. And now the Hokies are moving it well again on 3rd and 5. Here's Kingsbury. Looks to throw it. There's a flag. Pass is caught. Nice catch by Tremaine Trinidad. But this one is coming back. A holding on the unright tackle, Malcolm Boone. Redshirt freshman who I think might easily be a starter as early as next year. But that'll make it a 3rd down and 15 for the Hokies with Chavez in motion. Up the middle. It's caught. Not going to be enough, though, for the first down. It's Tuzar Camper. So that will result in a punt. Syracuse gets it back. 1.5 to play. 3rd down and 10. Walton down the field. Nearly intercepted again by Cloud. Broken away. Syracuse will punt it. I know we should kneel the clock out, but I do want to get a few snaps with the true freshman, Matthew Shelley, who I think also has a chance to be the long-term starter after Judah Hudson. As he gets the first down, it's Tremaine Trinidad. Shelley's first career pass as a Hokie. And that'll just about do it. 55-0, a dominant win for Virginia Tech. And we really took our pedal off the metal about halfway through the 3rd quarter. Dominant game across the board. Offense moving it down the field with ease. Defense, after struggling last week, allowing 44, pitches a shutout today. We outgained them a lot to a little. Honestly, we didn't even run the ball that well. I mean, partly because we ran it so much in the 4th. But overall, really, really impressive game. The score tells you what you need to know. It was pretty clear early on that this game was going to be a blowout. And, well, that's exactly what we got. We got to see all 4 quarterbacks play, and we got to see basically the entire roster on the field, except for a few guys, which is pretty cool. Judah Hudson, 19 of 26, 291, 3 scores in only 2.5 quarters. Not even. A very strong game from Hudson. Morgan with a score. Kingsbury went 6 of 7. And we even got to see the youngster Matthew Shelley out there too. On the ground, Hudson continues his impressive start to the year as a runner. Keelan Ringo was solid. And we got, again, literally everybody the ball here. The entire running back room getting some touches. And then the same thing can be said with the receivers. I mean, literally everybody got the ball in this game. Everybody eats. And it wasn't a matter of Ishmael and Dalton hogging all the catches. We had a number of other guys with multiple receptions through the course of the game. So it was fun to get to see all these guys out there because I don't think we're going to have that many blowouts the rest of the year given that our schedule is really hard. I mean, I figured we'd beat Syracuse. I figured it would be somewhat handedly. I certainly didn't think it'd be 55-0. Offensive line was outstanding. The pass protection was great. They gave Judah Hudson all the time he needed. And then the defense, man, hats off after getting embarrassed against Ole Miss. That's one way to bounce back, not allowing any points. And we did it without really sending that much pressure. We only had 2 sacks, Jordan and Teccarelli. Did have a couple interceptions, including the pick 6 by Ian Cloud and the really impressive grab by Smoke Lewis. As for Syracuse, tough day in the office, regardless of who was in at quarterback. Carden and Walton, the offense really didn't look that great with either of them out there. I mean, there was really not a positive in this game for Syracuse other than the fact that the game is over. That's really the only thing I can think of. There's literally nothing going for them. They're going to have a long look into the mirror after a loss like this. I get Virginia Tech on paper is quite a bit better, but 55-0, really? They had the big 46-yarder by Klutz, but their next longest play, I think, was only 15 yards. I mean, that's just not good enough. I feel like the crazy part about it is that their offensive line wasn't even that bad. They only allowed the 2 sacks, and one of them, the play by Teccarelli, was barely even a sack. It was on the run play that he blew up immediately. But they just didn't get enough from the quarterbacks, the skill guys, and certainly not the defense. So an awesome win here for Virginia Tech. We played pretty much a flawless game, offense, defense, special teams. There's really nothing to nitpick about this result other than don't get carried away because we've got a much better opponent next week on the schedule in Notre Dame. And speaking of Notre Dame, we are going to be at home, just our second home game of the year, and that means we're going to be able to extend guys in for some visits. We had a couple players in for the UConn game, but now recruiting is starting to move a lot faster. Obviously, we haven't really gone in depth too much this year. We will once we get to the recruiting special within the next couple of episodes. But we do have 4 visits to offer. I'm going to start with Akeem Ogbonna, the tight end, number 1 tight end in the class, and I think he is as advertised. He's a guy I really want to get. I think he's a stud, and we're going to take the risk, have him come in versus Notre Dame, because if we beat Notre Dame, that would be a big boost. David Madden, defensive tackle. Shaq Beach, he's an edge rusher. And then wide receiver Jaquez Thomas will come in as well. The interesting decision here is that we're not extending an invite to Demetrius Hawkins, who's one of the highest ranked players on the board. He's ranked 39th. He's a stud. He's the 3rd highest ranked guy here. But his recruitment hasn't moved that fast, and we don't have any of his interest unlocked. So I'd rather wait it out for when we play at home within the next few weeks. I think in 2 weeks we've got Stanford at home. So I'd rather figure out what he's interested in and then have him come during that game. All right, let's simulate the week. Week 4 across the nation. Conference play really starting to heat up in a lot of the big-time power conferences. So we've got some big games on the slate. Notre Dame, our opponent next week, has number 1 Clemson. The Tigers finished the early season schedule of doom. If they go 4-0, that'd be pretty insane. A lot of big games in the SEC. I'm very curious to see how Ole Miss looks after their big win against us as we get our first commitment of the year. Cornerback Devin Torber, a 4-star from Hyattsville, Maryland. He was one of the guys who visited during the UConn game, and obviously since we blew them out, that really helped his case. And now we officially land him our first commit of the season as Pitt heads to SMU facing off against the Mustangs. It's been a weird year for SMU. Now they're playing against a Pitt team with a backup quarterback, but that did not stop the Panthers from pulling off the upset. A nice win for Pitt. It drops SMU to 1-3. I think it's fair to say the Mustangs missed Tyree Wells and Parker Zasco a lot. 35-30 is your final. Noah DeVallis has more games this year with 12 touchdowns than he does wins against FBS teams. Is that a concern? Even with no Jaquarian Spencer, Jeremy Bosby in his first start of the year played really well. And Theo Lefebvre, the redshirt freshman running back, is quickly turning into one of the better young backs in the country. He's a really, really good player. They've got to get him the ball more. For SMU, this season has obviously been a weird one. They had the crazy game early from DeVal's where he broke the record books. But otherwise, they haven't been that impressive. Granted, they've had a tough schedule, but they're 0-3 against FBS teams. That's pretty concerning. Damon Easter played well. DeVal's still at 400 yards, but he was also picked off twice. I will say, though, this freshman receiver, Damani Kazin, yeah, he's a monster. Georgia and Ole Miss, the Rebels coming off a nice win last week against Virginia Tech. Can they keep it going against Georgia? No, but they kept the game close, and I think Georgia's the most talented team in the country. So the fact that Ole Miss kept this game close, the same Ole Miss team that we almost beat, is honestly pretty encouraging. The problem is, as we've seen with Ole Miss, their defense is not very good. They scored 43 points, and, well, they still lost. Ryan Lockley, 463 yards, 5 touchdowns. In my opinion, Lockley's been the Heisman so far through the first third of the year. I mean, he has been unbelievably good. And in a quarterback class that really kind of lacks that true number 1 guy, it might be him. Curtin Pexel played well. Pexel's a guy who I think could go quite high. And then Kamaria Jackson, the former number 1 recruit in the country, quiet freshman year. He's fully broken out as a sophomore, and he's one of the best players in the country. Galeo Barron plays well again for Ole Miss, although their offensive line is kind of weak. This Ole Miss squad is loaded at quarterback and the skill positions, but the rest of the roster does lack a little bit, and we've seen that play out now in back-to-back weeks. The receiving stats are basically a carbon copy and paste of last week. That's kind of funny. Alabama and Florida. The Tide already have 2 losses. They know they cannot afford to lose another. Last year, I thought Alabama was clearly one of the 12 best teams, but they lost 3 games, and they couldn't make the playoff as a result. So this feels like a must-win game for Bryson Asamoah and company. And ultimately, they would get the job done. Asamoah was solid, but this running back tandem is really what should get fans excited. Jamarian Suggs has been arguably the top back in the country this year, but he might not even be the first Alabama running back off the board. Tide win at 35-24. They were actually down by 10 going into the 4th, but Bryson Asamoah helps lead the comeback. And then this running back room, as I mentioned, Jamarian Suggs is a beast. Jalen Gandy is a beast. To me, I think Gandy's the really high-level NFL prospect. I think he could be one of the top running backs off the board, along with Suggs. Mayer Stokes was solid, but he got hurt. Broke his thumb. He'll be out for the next 3 weeks. So he was replaced by one of their veteran backups, Julius DeBose, who had nearly the same amount of incompletions as Stokes, even though he barely played. not a great look for him. Malachi Dunham was kind of quiet himself, although Wimper and Parmelli both very solid. Oklahoma and LSU, the Sooners have looked really strong this year, undefeated. The Tigers, meanwhile, they know they can't really afford to lose another game early in this season. So this is a big one for both of these squads. I think LSU on paper is a little bit better than Oklahoma, and ultimately that did show in this game. Gerald Bohannon lobbing it for the end zone. He's got Deacon Cisco, the number 2 player in the portal, connecting with the number 3 player in the portal. The Tigers win at 42-21. LSU with an impressive showing at Death Valley. Big win for the Tigers. They're able to bounce back into the top 10. Gerald Bohannon, the most accurate quarterback in the country, showing us why. He completes 80% of his throws, 3 touchdowns and a pick. As good as Hoppy Reynolds was, and I'm a big Hoppy Reynolds fan, I think there's a real scenario where Gerald Bohannon ends up being even better this year for the Tigers. There's a reason why he is currently projected towards the back end of the first round. And then Deacon Cisco coming over from Louisiana Tech, the jumping competition clearly proven to not be a big deal. Solomon Sifu is getting some Heisman buzz last week, and I do like Sifu. I think he's good. I don't think he's Heisman good, though. And then Sean Burris only 3.3 yards per carry. Northwestern heads to the Coliseum facing off against USC. I'd like to welcome everybody to the Noah Kampmoyer Show. Kampmoyer would deliver not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6 or 7, but 8 passing touchdowns. USC wins it 69-3. You can make the argument that Kampmoyer's performance was even better than that of Noah DeVal's, given that instead of an FCS opponent, it was against a power conference school. Granted, Northwestern doesn't really play like one. I don't know why they went away from Bailey Travers. I thought he was pretty solid. As for Noah Kampmoyer, not bad. Not bad at all. It's crazy that this game might not even be the best game this year from a quarterback named Noah who throws left-handed. I mean, what are the odds of that? Noah DeVal's and Noah Kampmoyer sharing first names, being amongst the only notable left-handed quarterbacks in the country, both having ridiculous performances like this. Colin Daniels with 3 receiving touchdowns, Kyrie Sampson with 4. Next up, we head to the other LA school. It's UCLA, who hasn't won yet this year, but I think they're better than their record suggests. Playing against a really good Nebraska team. UCLA gave them all they could bargain for, but a 2-point conversion in overtime by who other than Tamario Harold would win the game for the Cornhuskers 48-46. Nebraska remains undefeated. They are now number 9. I've said it with Nebraska throughout the year, but I'm buying what they're selling. To me, I think this is a team who's absolutely capable of making the playoff. 6 touchdowns for Chaz Carrington. Granted, he only completed half of his throws. Tamario Harold, solid day in the office from him. And then Thomas Morris, 6 catches, 4 trips to the end zone. Peyton Curry was good, then I assume he got injured. He certainly wouldn't have gotten benched with those numbers. They brought in Reggie Motley, who wasn't as good. Had Curry stayed healthy, could they have won? They probably would have. As Zion Henderson and Percy Abel both doing their thing per usual. This UCLA team, I think they're going to get back on track. Maybe not like a playoff team or anything, but I definitely think this is a bowl caliber team. But starting 0-3 definitely is not a great look, even with a hard schedule. Next up, we're headed to Clemson. This is a big game for Notre Dame, given that they've already lost 1 and they're not in a conference. So it's not easy for a team like them to make the playoff. They've got Clemson, the number 1 team in the country, who's beaten juggernaut after juggernaut after juggernaut. And the wagon just kept on rolling. The Clemson Tigers, with the opening 4 games of doom, end up going 4-0. I said at the beginning of the year, 3-1 would be a massive success. Even 2-2, I think you could get away with. I didn't see 4-0 coming. And they blow out Notre Dame pretty comfortably, 31-13. So this Clemson team, I think, is very clearly the number 1 team. I still think Georgia on paper might be the favorite for the championship, but it's really hard to argue against Clemson given their body of work dating back to last year and what they've done this year, beating USC and Miami and Alabama and now Notre Dame. I mean, these are 4 great teams. Clemson's beaten them without really much problem. Brady Montoya was solid, not bad, but not horrible. I was rooting for Notre Dame to win this game because them losing gives them no margin for error. So we're going to get their best shot next week. As we take a look at some other scores, look at Wake Forest giving NC State a battle. The Wolfpack do hang on, though, 51-48 in a high-scoring thriller. Toledo's now ranked. They beat Western Michigan. I have a feeling Toledo will stay ranked with their high-octane offense. Michigan hasn't lost yet. They beat Purdue 34-18. Tennessee is ranked. They beat up on UConn. Oklahoma State with a close one over Fresno State. I think Fresno State's pretty good. I don't think that's some horrible result. the Cowboys, who are 19th ranked 4-0. Miami, Oregon taking care of business. Texas and Arizona State as well. As we look at the ACC, Georgia Tech gets the better of Louisville. I don't know why Louisville was ranked to begin with. I don't think they're really all that good, especially without Judah Hudson. North Carolina, big win over Stanford. I know I've been low on North Carolina, but that's a really nice win, scoring nearly 50 points. Shout out Jadel Mathis. And then Florida State, 4-0. They beat up on Boston College. A good win there for the Seminoles. We'll see if Florida State finally can have a good season after being really mediocre early. Auburn blows out Kentucky. Good showing for the Tigers. Maryland beats Rutgers by 1. Maryland is now undefeated 4-0. Rutgers was actually ranked going into that game, interestingly enough. And if Maryland keeps playing like this, they'll probably join them. Otherwise, not that many notable results here in Week 4. Utah blows up on BYU. Kansas with a nice win over Iowa State. Rock chalk as we take a look at our rankings through the first 4 weeks of the year. It feels like Clemson and Georgia are just playing in another league compared to everybody else. Otherwise, not too much moving. Oklahoma drops 9 spots. Notre Dame down at 11. Ole Miss down to number 24. And the Hokies are back to getting votes. We're second, only trailing Memphis. So the win against Notre Dame, you would absolutely presume that we would move into the top 25. As for the players of the week, Noah Campmoyer did not win it. Jadarius Wiggins, 6 passing touchdowns. He joined by Jose Mond. I still would have assumed Campmoyer would have won it. He threw for 8. DeMarcus Joy and Kiwan Jolly win the players of the week. Joy and Jolly in the ACC. As for the Heisman, George Gwacham is in first from Northern Illinois. That's random. I think, as I said, it should be Ryan Lockley. Jackson's in third. Noah DeVals falls to 4th. And Damani Kazin up to 5th. So let's look at Week 5. Some good games across the country. The Big Ten's really heating up. USC, Illinois, Wisconsin, and Michigan. Some big games in the SEC. And then, of course, a huge one for playoff implications between Notre Dame and Virginia Tech. I feel like the loser of this game is going to have a major uphill battle, especially Notre Dame. So this really feels like a must-win game, both sides. And I would argue the most important regular season game of the entire series up to this point. The problem with our Virginia Tech team is that we never beat teams that are better than us. Against all the inferior opponents, we have no problems. But once we play against a highly ranked team, we always falter. We have to beat one of these really good teams at some point. Otherwise, there's no chance we're going to make the playoff. And as we look at the remainder of our schedule, I feel like we've got to do it today against Notre Dame. They're 3-2, but their 2 losses are against Miami and Clemson. And they almost beat Miami, too. They should have, if not for an impressive second-half comeback by the Canes. None of their wins, though, are that impressive. I mean, we obviously took care of Syracuse a lot more dominant than Notre Dame did. They won by 17. We won by 55. Their schedule after this game, though, isn't that hard. I mean, USC is going to be tough. I think the Trojans are a little better than them. But otherwise, they're going to be the favorites in the remainder of their games. I mean, San Diego State and Stanford won't be gimmies. But if Notre Dame wins this one, then they're going to have a pretty clear pathway to making the playoff if they beat USC. Redshirt freshman quarterback Braden Montoya leads the way. He won the battle in the offseason, and he's been one of the more accurate quarterbacks in the country. 67% completion percentage, but he does have to cut down on the turnovers. Blaiko Asomi leads the way at running back. They got him in the portal from Arizona, one of the better pass-catching backs in the country, replacing the 3-headed monster of Amari Blues in the NFL. Jaden Williams is in the NFL, and obviously Keelan Ringo's with the good guys. Go-Go Hollands and Christian Session lead the receiving room. They always have great skill position players at tight end, especially with the talented sophomore Jordan Lewis. Defensively, led by guys like Tobias Ellerby, who's been a starter for a while. Khalif Angel at linebacker, Mohamed Ayayi, Calvin English, some really, really good players defensively. As I said, I feel like this is the biggest game of the series, to be completely honest, because if we lose this one, we'll be down to 2 losses, and really the only way of making the playoff would be to win out. But Notre Dame's saying the exact same thing. They probably have to win the remainder of their games, including this one, if they want to make the playoff. I don't see the rationale for putting a 9-3 team in who doesn't play in a conference. I mean, I don't really see how they would make it if they lose this game. Notre Dame, though, has been one of the best teams throughout the course of this series. They're one of just 2 teams who won playoff games in each of the first 2 seasons, Georgia being the other. So this is a team who's always in the mix, who's always in the playoff, but they're in real danger of that not happening and getting eliminated early if they fall to Virginia Tech. So we'll see if the Hokies can finally get over their boogeyman, finally beat Notre Dame, or if the Irish will continue what has been a long and disastrous streak for Virginia Tech against highly ranked and highly regarded opponents. I mean, it's ironic that in real life Virginia Tech hired James Franklin because in a lot of ways this team has been like James Franklin. They win all the games they're favored in and are supposed to win, but they don't win the big games that they're not supposed to win. So we'll see if we can finally change the fortunes as Judah Hudson will lead the offense on the field first. 4 all-purpose touchdowns in only, 23 minutes of play against Syracuse before going to the bench, although this Notre Dame defense is a lot better than Syracuse. On second down and about 5, here's Hudson. He's going to scramble with it up the middle, gets the first down. Hudson fighting for yards. And Judah Hudson, much like our program, is a guy who has struggled in big games himself. I mean, last year, Louisville looked like a team who had an outside shot for the playoff. Then they played against Miami and Clemson. Judah Hudson played horribly. Everything fell apart, not just for Louisville, but for his draft stock. As it's Tyler Ham, the ham sandwich, with the third down sack. So Notre Dame gets the early stop defensively. We'll take a look at Braden Montoya, the redshirt freshman who's been up and down, but he is really accurate. Montoya picked off on the first play. KJ Story with the interception, and the crazy thing is that wasn't even that good of a coverage route. Blythe Koisomi, the running back, had a step on him, but the pass was underthrown by Montoya, and Story's going to give the Hokies excellent field position. And in a game that probably won't see as much points for Virginia Tech as the last 2 weeks, I mean, we've combined for nearly 100 over the last 2. We're not going to see anything like that today, I think. Forcing a big turnover early, getting this field position, that is a huge deal. 1st and 15 following a penalty. Here's Hudson, looks to throw it, he'll go short. Wide open is Asheville Virgo. He gets the first with the juke move past the 10. Really nice maneuver by Asheville Virgo. He gets around 20, and that'll keep the chains moving for Virginia Tech. Now a 3rd down and goal. The former Notre Dame running back, Keelan Ringo, is the first to score. This feels like a revenge game for Ringo. I don't think Notre Dame utilized him properly. Sure, he was the RB3 for them last year, but he led the team in rushing as a freshman, even with Amari Blue on the roster and Jaden Williams. Last year, he was an afterthought. So I feel like there's certainly a little extra motivation here for Ringo in this game. 2nd and inches, Montoya up the middle, it's caught. Really nice throw and catch into the hands of Christian Session. Him and Gogo Hollands have been one of the better receiver tandems in the country over the last few years. Is on 3rd and 10. Montoya, his pass is low and incomplete. He tries to get it to Gogo Hollands. Notre Dame will have to punt it away. Good start for the Hokie defense. Not the same defense that allowed 44 points against Ole Miss. We haven't allowed anything today. Here's Ringo to the outside with blocks. Past the 35, past the 40 with a juke move. Ringo, his longest run of the year, as he gets about 31 yards. Keelan Ringo's not a big play threat. He's the opposite of Chris Mickens. Doesn't get the home runs, but I think is more consistent on a snap-by-snap basis. RPO for Ishmael up the middle. He gets it near the 30. I'm excited about this Nazir Ishmael Tobias Ellerbe matchup. Ellerbe's one of the most consistent, one of the most productive corners in the country, although that was not Ellerbe on in that play. That was their other corner, Jason Sanders. 3rd down, pass is low for Kiernan. We could go for a 52-yard field goal. Instead, I decided to punt it. That proved to be a pretty good decision. We pinned them back deep at around the 3. What a punt by Warner Troutwine. Koisomi nearly tackled in the end zone. Logan Teccarelli, again, this guy lives in the backfield. 3rd and 9, they will throw it here. Montoya looks to pass it under pressure, looking down the field. It's caught! Big-time throw by the freshman. He's got Christian Sessions, who makes the play for Notre Dame. He beats Fleming and gets a really solid gain, certainly getting Notre Dame out of safety range, and it puts him over 3,000 yards on his career, one of college football's active receiving leaders. Up the middle, the tight end Jordan Lewis with the 1st down reception. An impressive end of the first quarter. Otherwise, Notre Dame's offense didn't look very good, but they're starting to move it. On a drive where they opened at the 3, now they're really starting to get something going. Hokies do lead, though, 7-0 with the interception by KJ Story and the touchdown by the former Notre Dame running back, Keelan Ringo. 2nd and 10 to start the second. Montoya on the run. Floats it in the end zone. It's Jordan Lewis with the touchdown. That's a really nice play by Montoya, who's starting to settle in here. Does a great job of navigating in the pocket, through pressure, on the run with a beautiful throw for Lewis, the sophomore tight end, who I think is going to be a really good piece for this Notre Dame offense in the long term. 3rd down and 9. Hudson rolls to the right. Look at all this room. That's too easy. Come on now. Hudson with the 1st down. Around the 45, but there is a flag And this one is coming back. For a team who's been pretty disciplined with the penalties, we've had a few in this game go against us so far. Kingston Carter. So instead of having a first down at the 45, it's 3rd and 19 inside the 15. Ugh. Hudson will look to throw it. He'll roll to the right again. Hudson can't find anybody open deep. He'll just go short, and that one is caught, but not much. Malachi Lavelle Jr. with the reception. Irish get it back. 3rd and 10, 8 to go in the half. Montoya goes short. It's caught by Session. He's been busy today, but he doesn't get the first. Ian Cloud with the tackle, and that will lead to a Notre Dame punt. Nazir Ishmael only has 1 catch in this game. We've got to get him involved. Judah Hudson hasn't been very impressive as a passer yet. I feel like we've got to go to the basics. Keep it with the screen game. Virgo with the first down. But so far, those big game jitters seem to be back for Judah Hudson. It was a big issue for him last year at Louisville, a big reason why he didn't declare for the draft to begin with. Ringo with the juke move, nice first down. So we can get the run game going and the short passing game going. I think that'll hopefully get Hudson more comfortable, and it helps that Keelan Ringo is playing great. 3rd and 2, Hudson for Matlock. One-handed catch, and he drops into the hands of the defense. Are you kidding me? Tobias Ellerby with the interception. The freshman goes for the highlight reel catch. He can't hang on to it because he's hot dogging it. He drops the ball right into the hands of Ellerby. I mean, that is a killer. As much as Judah Hudson hasn't been very accurate in this game, and that really was not a great throw. I mean, come on. You got to go up with 2 hands to catch the football, man. Matlock drops it into the hands of Eberle. Notre Dame's got it. Montoya misses on 3rd down, and Notre Dame will go for it on 4th and 5. Luckily, they don't have Cesar Vasquez as their kicker, unlike last year. Made an NCAA record 8 kicks in their first-round playoff game, as that one is off the mark. Montoya looking for Lewis. So Virginia Tech gets to stop yet again. We'll get it back on offense, still 7-7. We have not moved the ball well at all. Our 1 touchdown drive was because we started at like the 25 with the interception by Story. Wide open is Dalton. The pass is off the mark. Another bad miss by Judah Hudson. He just looks off right now. Hudson scrambles up the middle, gets the first down, slides it around the 45. Through the first few games of the year, I didn't think there was a weakness with Judah Hudson, but he's a big game dropper, it looks like. Another bad throw. Could have been a first down had that pass been in stride, but Kiernan only gets 7, and we're going to go for it. We are going to choose some clock, though. The thought process here is let's burn some time, get the first down, and kick. And if we don't get the first down, Notre Dame won't have time to do anything on offense as Ringo gets the first. Plenty of room to center the kick. In a game where there hasn't been much offense, we need all the points we can get. But did you guys see that play at the end of the first half of the Syracuse game? We do have a timeout, so we can make a quick decision as necessary. Hudson looking deep for Ishmael. It's incomplete. So luckily we get the play off within 4 seconds, and we're not going to run another one. We're going to bring out the field goal team. KC Swinger, a 41-yarder, a little bit to the right to put Virginia Tech on top before the break. Swinger, his kick is good! KC Swinger puts Virginia Tech on top. A low-scoring defensive battle at the break. But Virginia Tech does have the lead, 10-7. We're not only in the game, but we have the lead. Now, this has been the case in a lot of our big games in recent years. We stay in it early. Both times we've played Miami in this series, we've either been really close or had the lead at halftime, and then they turned it into a blowout in the second half. So we can't let the same thing happen today against Notre Dame. Judah Hudson's not been very good. 8 for 18, 91 yards, and an interception. Granted, the pick wasn't fully his fault. 6 carries, 75 yards, and a touchdown for Keelan Ringo. He's been the saving grace on offense. Nobody has more than 2 catches for us. Dalton has 1 for 5. Ishmael has 1 for 23. As for Notre Dame, Montoya, 10 of 18, 138, a touchdown and a pick. He keeps it on the read option. Here's Montoya with plenty of room. The longest run of the game for Notre Dame. He gets him near the 50. I think Brady Montoya has been pretty solid. He's been able to get his key weapons the ball. Jordan Lewis, 5 for 60. Christian Session, 3 for 57. As Bly Koasomi breaks forward past the 35. Koasomi only had 15 yards in the first half, so he more than doubles it with that 1 carry. Notre Dame quickly in business here in the third. 3rd and 9, incomplete, thrown into the ground, pressure by Ross Daniels, and Notre Dame will be forced to kick as they try to tie the game. Ryan Gouveia, the junior, hailing from Orlando. This kick is from around roughly 35. It is up, and it is good. We are knotted up at 10. So Notre Dame is able to negate the field goal at the end of the first half by Virginia Tech. But it remains tight. Our defense still getting key stops when they need to. 3rd down and 4. Hudson looks to throw it. Hudson under pressure on the run. It's caught! Finally, Nazir Ishmael makes another play. He's been vacationing on Jason Sanders Island in this game. RPO, there's Ishmael again, and now we're finding ways to get him the ball. I think one of the biggest reasons why the offense struggled, aside from Hudson being inaccurate, is we didn't give Ishmael the rock. Play action. Hudson under pressure, tries to slip away, but he cannot. Calvin England and Khalif on Hill bring him down as it's 3rd down and long. Hudson looks to throw, and he's sacked again. On Hill, flying off the edge, basically unblocked. And the struggles for the Hokie offense continue. Hudson is sacked on back-to-back plays. Nice run up the middle by Koisomi. This third quarter has basically been all Notre Dame. Their offense has moved the ball a lot better than they did in the first half, but they've got to find a way to finish these drives with touchdowns. Montoya looks to throw it, looking deep. It's picked off! Justice Watkins has got it. Follows his blockers. We've got a chance for a big return. Watkins gets by the 50, and he's tracked down by Braden Montoya, but not before grabbing the interception and taking it 50 yards on the return. We needed a spark. I feel like our momentum was dying away. We haven't made a lot of good plays in the third, and fittingly, it's the defense who's been so awesome in both games today. They're the reason why we're in this game. They make the play. They give us some yards after the fact, and the Hokies get another turnover that they can look to take advantage of. 3rd down and medium. Play action. Hudson looks to throw it. Ishmael, it's broken away. Jason Sanders is at a hell of a game. I mean, nobody can guard Nazir Ishmael, I guess, except for him. 47-yarder from the right hash for KC Swinger. This one is for the lead. It is up, and it is good! KC Swinger really having a nice year as it's 13-10. So both teams trade field goals in the third. Now, I think Notre Dame outplayed us by quite a bit in that third quarter, so the fact that the deficit stayed the same from halftime to where we are now is pretty encouraging. We've got to play better in the fourth. I think we've got to get this guy the ball more. 8 carries, 80 yards for Ringo. He's been outstanding against his former team, but he hasn't gotten it enough. We're going to have to really utilize him in the fourth with Ishmael and Hudson's struggles through the course of this game. 2nd down and 7 for the Irish. Koisomi, no, it's a fake. Montoya goes the wrong way. Good job by Kwan Stewart to bring him down, as it is a 3rd and 8 for Notre Dame. This feels like a huge play with a 3-point lead, as it's another read option. Montoya breaks the tackle, but he doesn't get the first. It's a gain of about 3. KJ Story brings him down. Interesting to go read option back-to-back there. Where's the creativity, Marcus Freeman? Hokies get it back. 2nd down and short. Hudson lobs it up. Ishmael's got it! Nazir Ishmael, it was only a matter of time. Touchdown, Virginia Tech. He burns Jason Sanders. Hudson puts the throw on the money. We've been waiting for the big play out of these two, and the Hokies now lead by multiple scores. Great route by Ishmael. We saw prior to the play that they were going to run press man coverage, and Nazir Ishmael with his get-off is the last guy you want to run press man with. So we audibled his route. We have him run the go ball, and once I saw that the safety wasn't really keeping his eyes on him, I knew it was game over. 20-10, Notre Dame back with it. Montoya on the run with a dart. Inbounds. J.P. Ramish with the first down. 3rd and 10. It's going to be a screen. Koisomi, I mentioned he's one of the top receiving backs in the country. Gets the first, breaks the tackle, unable to stay in bounds, but he gets it near the 50. Notre Dame looking to respond. They're down by 10 with just 5 minutes to go. 3rd and 4. Here's Montoya. It is broken away. Great defense by Virginia Tech, and they're going to kick. Interesting call here. It is a 53-yarder for Brian Gouveia, so it's not a gimme. I mean, if it was 4th and 14, I get it. 4th and 4, I feel like you got to go for it. I mean, the kick is good, to their credit, so it is a one-score game, but they're still down by 7. Notre Dame would need a touchdown if they get another chance on offense, and I mean, they've only scored 1 touchdown the whole game. Let's see if we can try to choose some clock. Got to imagine we're going to lean on Ringo a lot, although we'll start with Hudson on the draw. Hudson, nowhere to go, and he's hurt. Well, that's not good. Judah Hudson dinged up. I know he hasn't had a very good game, but he has gotten more comfortable here in the fourth. So Ace Morgan is back out there, joined by Ringo, 3rd and 4. Morgan looks to throw it. Morgan has Ishmael. He's got it! Big catch by Ishmael. Even on a down game, he still gets over 100 yards. Hudson's back in the game as it's 3rd down and 1. Hands it off for Virgo, who goes the wrong way. For me, there's no 4th down decision. It's an easy one. Our defense has been fantastic all game. Why not trust them to get one more stop? They haven't allowed a touchdown since early in the second. Play action. Montoya is sacked on 2nd down by Kwan Stewart. 3rd down and 14 now for the Irish here at the 2-minute timeout in the 4th quarter. If you're Notre Dame, do you go for it if you don't get it? I mean, I guess it depends on how close they are. I would say 4th and 5 or anything closer, you probably do. I don't think I'd go for it on like a 4th and 14 inside the 10. Short throw is caught. Jordan Lewis, he gets about 9. There you go. 4th and 5, right on the nose, and they will go for it. Notre Dame, this is pretty much for the ball game because if they don't get it, we're going to get it in the red zone and should at the very least score. Montoya, his pass is caught for a 1st down by Koasomi. Notre Dame's able to keep it going a little while longer. 2nd down and about 6. Montoya up the middle, scrambles for the 1st down, makes a man miss, and is hit hard by Ian Cloud. Notre Dame uses a timeout. They've only got one left, so they're really putting all their eggs into the basket of this drive. As that one is narrowly intercepted. Oh my goodness. Kona Bua had the game in his hands. 3rd and 9, 46 seconds. Montoya looks to throw it. Montoya has some time. That one is caught. Nice catch by Christian Session. Only gets about 3. They're going to go no huddle. They want to save that last time out, but they've got to convert here on 4th and 6 with just over 30 seconds left for the game. Montoya looks to throw it. Montoya is going to try to run with it, and it is incomplete. Koasomi was open. He could have gone short and at least gotten the 1st down, but that will do it. Virginia Tech defeats Notre Dame. Finally, a big-time ranked win for the Hokies as we improve to 4-1 on the year. Basically de facto eliminating Notre Dame from the playoff only halfway through the year after they made it and won games in the 1st round over each of the last 2 seasons. It was a rough one for us offensively. Nazir Ismail only had 101 yards. Judo Hudson, a guy who has struggled in big games, struggled in this one. But the fact that we were able to win even without Judo Hudson playing well is really encouraging. The rest of the team stepped up. The run game, the defense. Our defense, I was very concerned after the Ole Miss loss. We allowed 13 points in 2 games today. We allowed 1 touchdown. The defense was outstanding. 344 yards of offense for both teams. As we take a look at the overall numbers, Judo Hudson completed less than half of his throws. The accuracy and the big game performances were the issues last year. His accuracy has been better, but in his biggest game of the year, he fell short. Yet the team still won, which is obviously the important thing. On the ground, Keelan Ringo was phenomenal. Talk about a revenge game against his former team, showing Notre Dame why they should have utilized him more last year. He would have been their starting running back had they, used him. 5 for 101 and 2 drops for Nazir Ismail. I mean, it really wasn't his day. I know he had 100 yards, but he was not great for his standards. For everyone else's standards, he was more than good. Offensive line has been a strength for us this year. They've been really good. And then this defense, man, clap it up. I mean, again, we didn't get a ton of pressure. I think we only ended up with 2 sacks, but we had a couple of turnovers. The run defense was really good. The coverage was really solid. Really, really good performance defensively against a very talented Notre Dame offense. Now, I don't think Braden Montoya is bad or anything. I think he's really good for a freshman, but I think he's really a year away from truly being a guy. And I feel like next year, this Notre Dame team will have a good shot at the playoff, but they're probably eliminated here in week 6, which is awfully early. They ran it reasonably well. Koasomi and Montoya each had some big runs, especially in the second half. And then defensively, they were awesome. I mean, it's hard to put any of this on the defense. They only allowed 20 points. Judo Hudson struggled. Nazir Ismail struggled. With the offense, they just didn't get enough. Only 13 points. Great week for us as we get a big-time win over Notre Dame. We finally beat a ranked team. We probably will move into the rankings ourselves. This will only be our second ranked game of this series. The first one was week 1 last year against Texas Tech that we lost. It was also a great recruiting-wise as well. Those guys who we had on the visit, beating a good team like that, that's a big deal. So let's look at some games across the country. The headliners include USC, Illinois, Texas, Tennessee, Alabama, LSU, and then the game I'm most interested in is Wisconsin and Michigan. Wisconsin looks really good, but remember, they have the backup quarterback, so how are they going to look against the Wolverines? We'll start with USC and Illinois. USC coming off a 69-3 win against Northwestern. Now, Illinois is a little better than Northwestern. They didn't look much better, though, because it's Noah Kampmoyer's world, and we're just living in it. This redshirt freshman is quickly making a name for himself, a 5-star recruit who we kind of figured was going to wait his turn, but Jackson Jackson declares for the draft, Camp Moyer ends up being the guy here as a redshirt freshman, and he looks awesome. 52-14. Nair Dinkins didn't play very well, and this Illinois team is not the same without an elite running back. No more Anthony Anderson, no more Bronson Truman, who, as I've made clear, I thought was the best back in the country last year. Camp Moyer, 6 touchdowns, no picks, 71 completion percentage. This guy is a stud, and if he keeps this up, he'll be the projected #1 pick in way too early mock drafts next year. 2 scores for Sampson, 2 for Daniels, 1 for Bug Coel. Vanderbilt facing off against Georgia. It's been Clemson this, Clemson that. Clemson's getting all the love, but we can't forget about the Dogs. And Ryan Lockley only continued to cement his Heisman candidacy. Georgia beats Vanderbilt 73-3. Good Lord. 8 passing touchdowns for Ryan Lockley, 669 yards of offense. This is the runaway favorite for the Heisman. I mean, it's not close. There's not an argument, in my opinion, for anybody else. Ryan Lockley, his draft stock as well is soaring. This is a guy who took until his 4th year to really be a full-time starter. He was really solid last year and has taken a leap this year. 3 scores for Adrian Moon, 3 for Cameron Lewis, and then Frederick Gandy picked off 5 times, only completed 31% of his throws. Woof. 3 of those interceptions by the talented sophomore safety Aries Frost. Next up, Ole Miss and Oklahoma. Both of these teams coming off losses last week. They certainly cannot afford to lose another, especially Ole Miss, who's already at 2. It really felt like a must-win game for the Rebels, and they certainly came to play. Bryson Mickens, Corinth. There have not been many running backs in the country better than him this year. Look at the spin move. Making it look easy. Ole Miss with the win over the Sooners. A rough episode for Oklahoma. They go 0-2, and they fall out of the rankings after being in the top 10 going into the day. Solomon Sifu wasn't bad. Did he get injured? I don't know. It seems like he's fine, but Zach Johnson had to come in. Sean Burris struggles again. This is a highly projected running back who was pretty bad in both of their losses. As for Ole Miss, Galeo Barron, 80% completion percentage. I feel a little bit better about us allowing that type of efficiency to him, while Lamar Simpkins scores twice. Texas, #4, faces off against #20, Tennessee. I think in a lot of ways, Tennessee's freshman quarterback, Coda Thiago, is very similar to Wyatt Cruz. Both guys are ultra talented. Both guys also, they play like they kind of have a screw loose. And we certainly saw that here with Thiago. The difference for Wyatt Cruz is that he's a 5th-year veteran in his 4th year as a starter. And that level of experience really showed on the road. It's been a tough year for Oklahoma, but a really good year for Wyatt Cruz and the Longhorns. Looked like he made a good decision by transferring. 400 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks for Thiago. A little bit of everything, which has been the story of this season for him. He's basically the Jameis Winston of the SEC, it feels like. This kid, Myson Harrell, he is a monster. 10 more catches. He's quickly become their best receiver. Cruz, 4 touchdowns, 65% completion percentage. He continues to play really well. John Little with nearly 100 yards, and DeKaylin Jackson scores twice. #16, Wisconsin. #12, Michigan. The Badgers have been one of the most impressive teams in the country, but they don't have a starting quarterback. And guess what? It didn't matter. This Wisconsin team, much like Nebraska, I'm buying stocks. The Badgers, no quarterback, no problem. They go to the big house and beat Michigan. 21-10 in a defensive battle. Cason Wood completes less than half of his throws. They couldn't run the ball, and Tayshaun Treater got hurt. Their elite running back. That is not good. The freshman receiver, Brady Vogel, was really good, though. He had 8 for 124. Derek Watson did what he needed to. They should be getting Cannon Farmingdale back soon, but really the identity of that team is with the ground. Penn State heads to Rutgers, facing off against the Scarlet Knights. I briefly talked about Rutgers last week. They were ranked. I don't really know why they were ranked to begin with. After watching this game, though, I kind of understand. As they return home to Piscataway and upset the Nittany Lions. An impressive win for Rutgers, 32-31, with an impressive 10-point comeback in the 4th. Bugs Vitelli was efficient, but I guess quiet. Christopher Liggett was good, but that was about it for Penn State. Trevor Eldrenkamp with 2 scores. Liati Taliaferro with 2 of his own. As we head to Tuscaloosa, 2-loss Alabama, 1-loss LSU. Very pivotal game for both sides. To me, I think the Alabama roster is a little bit better than LSU, but the Tigers have the more experienced quarterback with Gerald Hannock. Hannock, however, really struggled in this game, and it was Bryson Asamoah and the Crimson Tide with another big win. Alabama obviously didn't do themselves any favors losing the 2 games early in the year, but this team with Jalen Gandy and Jamarian Suggs, if they can keep winning, this is not a team I'd want to see in the playoff. Bama wins big over the Tigers, 49-17. Alabama back up to #14. Bryson Asamoah with a great game. And then these running backs, man, Jamarian Suggs, Jalen Gandy, nearly 11 yards per carry. Charlie Rimp had 11 catches, and Kobe Walker housed both of those receptions. Gerald Bohannock only completed 52% of his throws. Not good enough, certainly, for his standards. LSU now has 2 losses, and their margin for error has certainly decreased. As we look at some other scores, Oklahoma State continues to win. They beat Baylor 45-30. TCU up to number 15. They blow out Houston. Carson Mayfield playing well this year after a really disappointing junior season. Toledo keeps winning. I'm a little concerned they only beat Ball State by 7, though. I mean, if you want to be a playoff team, you got to beat teams like Ball State by more than 7. Texas Tech, we haven't really talked a lot about them this year, but they've taken care of business, still undefeated. Oregon blows out Indiana. Ha! Revenge! Go Ducks! Miami with a nice win over Washington State. Ohio State beats Washington. Clemson takes care of business. South Florida, Memphis, Arizona State do what they need to do. The Sun Devils with 66 points. Virginia with a nice win over Wake Forest. Good episode for the Hoos. And remember, Wake Forest almost beat NC State last week. Louisville, a high-scoring win against Syracuse. SMU, what a disaster. They're 1-4. They get blown out by Florida State, who's 5-0. And SMU just lost to a Pitt team that got smacked by Boston College 36-10. A&M over Mississippi State in a close one. San Diego State beats Temple in a close one. If Toledo or one of the American teams is in the group of 5 prep, I'd certainly keep my eye on the Aztecs. Tulane gets upset by North Texas, 28-27. Good win for the Mean Green. Maryland, their undefeated season comes to a close. They lose to UCLA, who finally wins a game. UConn with a W over our in-state foes, Old Dominion. Another nice win for North Carolina. They're playing better, definitely, with Jadel Mathis, who's had a couple good games in a row. As we take a look at the new top 25 poll, not a ton of change again at the top, but quite a bit of movement, really from 10 down and beyond. So the top 5, 6, 7, relatively similar. But Penn State drops from number 6 all the way to number 13 with their loss versus Rutgers. Penn State still has time to right the ship, only with 1 loss, but obviously losing early in the year is not ideal. Michigan drops, Illinois, LSU, and Tennessee all fall, while the Hokies are number 23. We're ranked for just the second time in this series. And we're still undefeated in ACC play. I mean, Notre Dame's not an ACC team. That doesn't really count. But we're at the top. We're in 3rd. That's cool. There's 4 ranked teams in the ACC right now. Number 1, Clemson. Number 5, NC State, who we play this week. Number 6, Miami. And number 23, Virginia Tech. Raekwon Ishmael, Nazir's cousin, wins a Player of the Week before he does. Aries Frost wins it defensively for Georgia. Ishmael and Trevor Dillard in the ACC. As we take a look at our Heisman watch, Ryan Lockley rightfully at the top. He's in 1st with Noah Campmoyer now on the list. He's in 4th. Kind of feels like those 2 guys right now are pushing themselves further away from the rest of the group. Noah DeVal's, meanwhile, off the list. Probably for the better. He should beat an FBS opponent before he gets back there. Pivotal game next week. We just got a big win against Notre Dame, and we've got to do it again. On the road, number 5, NC State. The Wolfpack are 4-0. Remember, they nearly made the playoff last year. This is not some fluke. These guys are really good. We're in for a huge matchup that, again, much like the Notre Dame game, feels like we have to win. Hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you are new. Next episode should be a fun one and certainly a big one. Peace out.